Hey, it's Colin Russo, and since 1960, John C. Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing has proudly served Palm Beach County, keeping homes cool and comfortable. Now's the time to upgrade your AC with great financing options. Plus, ask about the Cassidy Care Club, providing year-round peace of mind. Cassidy is part of our local community and supports organizations like the YMCA and the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association. Keep cool with Cassidy Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Find out more at CassidyAC.com.
Hi, I'm Michael Manzo, owner and founder of Manzo's Italian Deli, and
Stop, Dad. After 20 years, people are tired of hearing your voice.
Yeah, and your lame-ass commercials.
Fresh prosciutto, mozzarella, outstanding.
Oh, please.
There's only one reason Manzo's is voted #1 deli in Palm Beach County for 20 years. Our mother.
She makes sure you prepare everything from scratch using only the freshest ingredients.
Manzo's Italian Deli is located on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, right next to Rain Dancers.
Is that a strip club?
No, it's a steakhouse. Manzo's is open weekdays from 8 to 5 and offers free delivery. So stop by or call 697-9411. That's 697-9411.
we also specialize in hot and cold catering for corporate functions and special events.
Just ask anyone who was at my last birthday party.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
There it is. You got the upset you all were begging for. Are you not entertained? Can't wait for the Cougars to win tonight.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. So pleased to be back with you today here on Theoretically Speaking on a Motion Monday, but on a day like today, C-Cat, where we also had so much motion over the weekend, it all culminates in what we're going to see tonight as we get a crowning of a champion in the men's basketball tournament. It's also going to be a Duffy's MVP Monday. Yeah, you hear the MVP chants. You hear the MVP chants, and if you're watching us live on YouTube, as always, tell your smart speakers play ESPN 1063, or you can watch us live on our stream on YouTube. See our pretty faces. You see C-Cat on the other side of the glass on the ones and the twos. If you look below his face, you see his name, Christian Cat, C-Cat. And if you also ask him if he finally got the thrill, the enjoyment, the fulfillment of underdogs winning in the tournament, that make his weekend, now we get his final answer.
Yeah, I fell asleep. 12 minutes left, the second Final Four game, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to waste valuable minutes of sleep on a comeback that probably won't happen. I've seen this song and dance. I've held out. I have sacrificed my time in the hopes of getting an entertaining tournament game. We got one with Florida and Auburn. That was a fun back-and-forth game. I appreciated the mini comeback by the Gators, but no. I was not going to stay awake for 40 more minutes to watch the best game of the tournament, apparently.
Yeah, it ended up being such as the Houston Cougars, who were down by 9 with 2 minutes to go. They were down 6, actually, with 50 seconds left. Down 6. 50 seconds left for the Duke Blue Devils to cut down the nets and, well, not cut down the nets, excuse me. You don't do that to Final Four in the regional final. They were 60 seconds away with 6 points lead to cut down the hopes of the Cougar season. And what you saw was fight, tenacity, energy, effort. What you saw was a Kelvin Sampson-led team that has veterans scattered throughout that were hungry for a victory, that somehow, some way found a way to fight back. Con Kneppel took it to the hole there for Duke with a chance to put them up 8. That would have surely sealed the deal. And you get stuffed. You get stuffed by Tuckler, who did not bite on the up fake. On the other side, you get a huge shot. That was a Sharp a Tampa area guy, a Florida native guy. Sharp hits the 3 to cut it to 3. And then you get the play. And this is where I always had faith in Houston, C-Cat, being a Houston native. being a guy who
and a Hard Rock better.
And our Hard Rock better, by the way, who did. When I saw Houston down late, I did slide in there and get some great odds. Some great odds on the Cougars winning outright, and all of the little mini bets I placed there ended up landing. So the Cougars down by 3. Duke inbounding the ball from out underneath their own basket. And what happened on this play, it was a roller coaster of emotions, because if you're the Blue Devils, what do you want to do? You want to get the ball in the hands of your best player, your best playmaker at times, and that was Cooper Flagg, who will be the number 1 overall pick. So they try and inbound it to Coop. Coop gets outmanned, out-hustled, and the ball gets into the hands of the Cougars. And then the issue is, not only did Cooper Flagg get out-hustled on the actual inbound itself, what followed, what ensued, was him having a chance to get the offensive rebound alongside 2 other Duke Blue Devils, who, by the way, all 3 of them are going to be pros next year, likely getting drafted in the lottery next year. All of them, they always say, hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. And I think he's going to review that. That's going to be a lot of teach tape for all of the Blue Devils on how the Cougars outmanned them at the end. Take a listen to the call here, as, again, Duke up 3, trying to inbound it to Flagg, and things get turned on its head as the Cougars just wanted it more.
Toss in by James. Floated upstairs, knocked away, clean by Sharp. Wilson goes back, he fires. No good, slammed down. It's Tucker, and he cuts it to 1.
That call courtesy of the NCAA on CBS. So here's what happens right there. You get the steal on the inbound. It's under 30 seconds to go. The Cougars are down by 3. As you heard, after the steal, they went for the triple. They tried to knot it up. It felt like one of those one shining moments type shots where that falls, and that is how you get the win. That's how usually it plays out. Like, that's the magic of the NCAA tournament, CK.
Of course, that shot always goes in. That shot always goes in when you get that bonus possession for a decided underdog of 5 points in that game. You always hit that shot when you're open on the wing. That's the shot you want.
And to reveal exactly how I took this in, because you already admitted you went to sleep at this point. You slept, 12 minutes left in the second half, so you missed all of the drama down the stretch here. I'm at the homie's house. We're having a little supper club, a little dinner action, and we're outside. The fellas at this point have migrated outside to kick it, chop it up, light up some cigars and recant some tales with each other. The ladies are inside watching the game a little bit more attentively than we are, because we think it's over with, but I'm peeking through the glass window, not only because I'm a Houston native and I want the Cougars to get this win. It would mean a lot to me and the city, but also, as you know, I had a couple Hard Rock bet slips, and it's hard not to watch your money just go down the drain there. So I'm peeking through, and I'm seeing things happen, but I'm like, why does it look so crazy? We come back in the middle of this play to watch this final, and what I saw right there, not just on the offensive board, that Cooper Flagg alongside 2 other Blue Devils just literally did not box out and allowed the offensive putback by the Cougars, the putback dunk. Outside of that, too, it felt like Duke, just like you and I, how you went to sleep with 12 minutes left and how I stepped outside with about 2 or 3 minutes left in that game, they thought they had it sealed up as well. They're already making their plans for tonight on how they're going to figure out how to get past Walter Clayton Jr. and the Florida Gators.
They became bystanders in that moment. Once that inbound pass was stolen, it was like, I hope Houston does not do this to us. And then, again, this is not watching it live, so kick it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the zeitgeist watching late Saturday night, but I rewatched it, and that's what it looked like. It looked like, that can't happen to us. Nothing that we can do about it. No, hopefully Houston doesn't make that shot. And you're just watching that ball not go in, thinking, okay, we survived that one, and a guy out-hustles you to the rim, to the rack, and flushes it home and makes it a 1-point game.
Still trail by 1 at that point, and again, down the stretch, the Cougars would close it out. A couple of clutch free throws. They win the game by 1, and at that point, I realized a team that is, it feels led by destiny, a team that is also coached by Kelvin Sampson, who his story is going to be such an intriguing one when his coaching career is wrapped up, when they write the book on what he did in the game of college basketball, his unceremonious dismissal from Indiana back when I forget what year it was, but I remember Eric Gordon was on that team, to him not only leaving the game of college basketball and going to the NBA, which the first team that gave him an opportunity to coach after his dismissal in Indiana, the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich, who believed in Kelvin Sampson. That's where he started his apprenticeship in the NBA when he took a few years out, his hiatus from college basketball. He returns to college basketball with the Cougars and back in 2016, and it has been a long ride for them. I think they've made the Sweet 16 6 straight years, actually, in the Sweet 16 for Houston, and they kept knocking on the door for over the past 4 or 5 years. There's been other seasons where they were believed to be the favorite, and they fell short. And this year, it felt like the entire world was against them, not in a sense that they weren't a good team or they were doubted, but more so because there was so much faith in the other 4 1 seeds. Like, you look at these 1 seeds in this tournament, you got the Duke Blue Devils littered with NBA talent, and they have the number 1 overall pick in the draft, Cooper Flagg. All of America wanted Duke to get that win, mainly because they care about the trajectory of Cooper's career.
The entire discourse until we got into about 2 minutes into that game, from the entirety when I was watching the game, was, wow, it could be Cooper Flagg 1 versus 5, and I would still bet on Duke in this game because of how much he showed out in that first half and that first 3 quarters of that game. That's how much he jumped off the screen in the Final Four in the game they lost.
Yeah. And that's how much he jumped off the screen in that game. But again, he looked so good, but down the stretch, a lot of key mistakes by him. And we've seen this in the past this season where he just, in the brightest of the moments, late in games, he didn't come up. Duke had been running roughshod over people, and he has been great from wire to wire so often. But again, if you look at the 3 that Sharp made for Houston to cut it to 3, he got that over Cooper Flagg. He hit him with an up fake, sidestepped him, and drained a 3 from the right wing. That was on your guy, the number 1 overall pick. And our guy Devontae in the chat, he's a Duke fan. He comments in and said they called a foul on Cooper for Houston to go up, and he didn't foul him. Well, actually, he was in bad position again. He got boxed out. And at that point, you're putting the onus of the game in the hands of the referee. Maybe it was a touch foul. Maybe it was, like, you can argue whether or not the contact that Cooper Flagg made there, you could argue whether or not it was a foul. At the very end of the day, though, you know for sure he was in a good position. He was in bad position there.
Yeah, and if there was any hidden agenda, of course, it would probably go to help Duke. That's a much more sexier name to be in the national championship game, so I'm not buying any bias.
Not buying that. So, again, I do give credit to the fact that you can say it's a 50-50 call, but at the end of the game, you can't put yourself in that position. Not only did Flagg he bit on the up fake on the three-pointer that cut it to 3, he's the one that the ball got inbounded to, but he didn't fight enough to get it. The Houston Cougars outmanned him there, and then right after the inbound pass that was stolen on the putback dunk, instead of boxing out and securing the rebound, he and 2 other Blue Devils, literally, you can watch, if you watch back the video, standing around the rim with their hands up while the Cougar big man comes in and slams down the putback dunk to give Houston a chance to win this thing. Not putting it all on Flagg, but at the end of the day, your best players have to shine bright in the biggest moments. And what Kelvin Sampson and the Cougars knew going into this game was if they could keep it close, if they can keep Duke within an arm's length, they might be able to find a way to end up with more points when the final buzzer sounded than the Duke Blue Devils did. And I can't act as if Duke didn't have the better team. Better team didn't win in that one. I do believe Duke was more talented. It's going to bear out when you see 20 years from now how much NBA talent was on the Duke roster versus Houston, but I do believe they were out-coached. So as I look at a weekend that had Live Golf, that had the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational, that we went to both of those events, C-Cat, and it was great times. As I look at a weekend that we also have already crowned the NCAA champion in women's basketball, I got to go to one place for my Duffy's MVP of the weekend. And it's not going to go to a Cougars player, though a lot of them are huge shots down the stretch, especially Sharp. It's got to go to head coach Kelvin Sampson, who was unceremoniously dismissed from college basketball, got his first job within the sport of basketball after that dismissal in San Antonio with Greg Popovich and the San Antonio Spurs, and years later brought it back to Houston, has been knocking on the door ever since. And back in the city that gave him his first chance, back in San Antonio, he now puts himself into a place where they are one win away from a championship. The Houston Cougars, they have a proud, storied tradition, right? Phi Slamma Jamma. By the way, whoever that security guard was that didn't let Hakeem, the Dream, Olajuwon onto the floor after the Cougars win, how dare you? Absolutely, how dare you? I don't understand, too. Dream is 7 foot tall, CK.
That's true. He's got to be somebody important. You're in a basketball arena. You got to connect the dots.
He's 7 foot tall, 7'1" or 2. In fact, I want to say about 5 years ago or so, during the pandemic, I remember hooping at this gym in Sugar Land where Dream often used to frequent. Sugar Land is a suburb of Houston. My high school that I went to was in that city, so I would go there often. Dream lives in that area. He frequents this one rec gym that I go to. So I remember when Dream walked in there as I'm hooping, he brought his son along with him, who I would guess is in college now, likely about a freshman. At that time, he was in high school, and he actually pushed his son to get into the grown man runs with me and my homies. And, of course, I'm giving Dream something to work.
Yes.
Of course I'm giving. In front of Dream, as he's standing there watching us, I'm giving him work.
Nothing
giving
free,
him bucket.
nothing easy. I don't care who your dad is.
Oh, man, come on, dude. You think that's going to intimidate me? You think it's going to put some pressure on me? So as Dream stands by and watches, I'm giving his son buckets left and right. But I couldn't help but think, number one, even after the game, we kind of got a little small talk in with him, and it was super cool. Dream is one of the most personable, cool, and chill NBA legends that you can think of, and he's doing so at he's 7 foot tall. It's hard to miss who this guy is. He's such a recognizable face in the city of Houston and in the state of Texas in general. I don't understand how that security guard found it within himself to say, no, not you. You got to at least bump one of your guys, bump a buddy, hop on the walkie-talkie and say, hey, okay, there's a 7 foot tall African dude. He looks kind of important. He's really intent on getting out here on the court. Can somebody give me a hand here? No, he was just like, absolutely not, go sit down.
Now, my move, I'm not a good facial recognition guy. I just won't be able to do it. It was full on display at the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational, where you've got these guys who are legends in the NFL. What's my favorite league? The NFL. But I wouldn't be able to recognize them on a face basis unless you are one of the top guys or you made a special impact on me. That's why we got Google, man.
Yeah.
Just look up famous Houston alumni.
I'm sure he said his name, too. He's probably like, hey, I'm Dream. Like, look it up.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yes.
It's got to be the number one name in Houston basketball history.
It's crazy. So, again, shame on that guy, but congrats to Kelvin Sampson, MVP of the weekend, who has a chance now to take on the Florida Gators and win a title for the city here. That stands out to me as the most important, impactful, and valuable person on the weekend. So clear to see where my intent is for tonight. Tip off for the championship tonight. What, 8:50?
It's always late.
8:50 tip off on CBS. Florida versus Houston. The Gators are 1.5 point favorites. C-Cat. Who do you actually want to see win this thing? Because I went back and looked at our college basketball champions draft between me, you, and Tina, and you went chalk. You picked as many 1 seeds and high favorites as you can, and Tina and I actually played the game fair, like real people, like good, upstanding individuals, and it looks like you don't have a champion.
Turns out this was the year to pick as many 1 seeds as possible, huh? I guess so, yeah. I had a 50-50 chance, and then it went to 0 at the end of Saturday's games. I'm rooting for Florida. When I moved down here to South Florida about 3 years ago now, I decided I had to pick at least one of the major colleges in the Sunshine State to root for above all the others.
Okay.
Couldn't stand Seminole fans, couldn't stand Seminoles in general. No real connection with the U at all. Couldn't align with it that much. So that defaulted me over to the Florida Gators. So I'm rooting for Florida.
If I had to guess who you would pick, it would have been Florida, because also during the time that you moved down here, they were kind of like the underdog in most of the major sports.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I don't want to be a bandwagon. I guess that kind of that underlying caution in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hop on the winning side. I want to be there when they're not good, so that when they are good, it feels even better.
Yeah, because Leonard Hamilton had Florida State rolling when you pulled up out here, because it was a few years ago at this point, right?
Yeah,
Jim Larinaga is at the height of his talents with the Miami Hurricanes. In fact, they made the Final Four the year after you moved here. And in football, clearly, Florida State was like the cream of the crop. The Gators have been kind of at rest for a while. That was the Billy Napier action, and so I get it.
I'm also a sucker for a great home field advantage in football, and I think the Swamp trumps both Seminoles fans in Tallahassee and obviously in Hard Rock Stadium.
You ain't got to say it.
I had to.
I'm a Canes fan.
I could have gone with the bounce house in UCF, but come on now. Big boy table.
You're right. And I wonder how Florida State's fans feel about that. I feel like nationally, and also people that are objective would say it's clearly the Swamp is a much tougher environment than what they have out there.
Might be SEC bias. It could be that.
No, it's not. It's true.
Oh, okay.
I think it's true. But people, I feel like folks out of Tallahassee, dope, man. We have stuff too. We got traditions too.
I will say,
absolutely not.
Spiking the arrow into the turf, I'm botching all of that. Whatever the actual vernacular is for Florida State, riding on the horse.
Yeah.
That's really cool. With the fire, that's
Chief,
a cool tradition.
Yeah, what I'll say is it's fun. It's cool. It's nice for the fans and whatnot. Swamp still is usually a rowdier and tougher place to play. Unless you're Cam Ward, who walked into the Swamp nonchalantly and walked out with like a 30 ball,
he did
30
that.
piece. Easy money. Number 1 overall pick pending. Who is your Duffy's MVP of the weekend after a weekend full of amazing, active sports? We had some winners on the golf course left and right. We had, obviously, a champion crowned in women's basketball. Dawn Staley was crashing out as UConn stumped them out. That was absolutely insane to see. Who is your Duffy's MVP of the weekend? For me, it's Kelvin Sampson, who leads the Houston Cougars into the national title game, which again tips off tonight. And I got the Cougs going home with that thing. Sorry to my Gators fans. Let's see what we got out here on the Baptist Health Hotline, how the fans are feeling in the area after a raucous weekend. Who's your Duffy's MVP of the weekend? And did they have a better weekend than Kelvin Sampson? A sleeper here, C-Cat? Amen Thompson of the Houston Rockets. A lot of people don't know who the hell that is.
No, I did not know. I thought that there was a break until the playoffs of the NBA. They're still playing regular season games.
They're still playing.
Okay.
They're still playing, and Amen Thompson is playing at the height of his game. Steph Curry played 33 minutes. Yes.
I thought you were talking about a coach. I'll be honest.
Wow. Yes, I'm saying Amen Thompson, one of the Thompson twins. The other one is Asur, who's on the Pistons.
Okay.
Steph Curry played 33 minutes against the Rockets last night. You want to guess how many points he had?
33 minutes.
For Steph.
For Steph. Man, he is aging like fine wine.
Yeah.
Probably had at least 28.
Nope. Lower.
17.
Nope. Lower.
10.
Lower.
No, really?
Exactly. And Amen Thompson was the primary defender on him. 3 points. 3 points.
Didn't he have 60 last week?
He just had 54. 60 was
go.
Jokic. 3 point or 52. 3 point. Amen Thompson had that man in jail. 1 for 10 from the field. I mean, defensive player of the year. That's the guy. Draymond Green on the other side there is watching him strap up a top 10 all-time player in Steph Curry. Amen Thompson deserves some recognition for MVP of the weekend. Who is yours? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. Let me know who you got. I got Kelvin Sampson still, but my runner-up got to go to Amen Thompson, the tenacious defender. Locked up Shea on Friday as well. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Give me your Duffy's MVP of the weekend. CCAT, we're going to go to break. We'll get your MVP on the other side. The most impressive win of the weekend, well, that goes to the Los Angeles Lakers, 126-99. They tied a franchise record with three-pointers made, and they get the win over the Thunder, who are the 1 seed in the West. It's not just about beating the team with the best record in the NBA. I'll tell you why. Their win over the Thunder this weekend is most impressive because of how it sets them up for the playoff stretch. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey, your MVP of the weekends, plus his on the other side. We're Theoretically Speaking on Emotion Monday on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Breaking news from Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. No tariffs on all new Kias on the lot. That's right. While other dealerships are raising prices, Greenway Kia is keeping it tariff-free. Get the deals you deserve right now at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Cruise into our state-of-the-art facility and check out the 2024 Kia Telluride starting at just $38,998. Thousands less than anywhere else. Plus, we've got 0% financing on your dream car and a tariff-free pre-owned selection. At Greenway Kia, no hidden fees, no surprises, just great cars at unbeatable prices. And we'll take your trade-in any make, any condition. If you make $350 a week, we want to approve you today. Get your tariff-free Kia today at Greenway Kia of West Palm Beach. Call 800-NEW-KIAs or visit GreenwayKiaWestPalmBeach.com.
We want to see ya in a Greenway Kia.
Credit affects down payment and approval terms, plus tax tag and $9.99 admin fee. Negative equity refinanced. Offers don't combine.
St. Lucie Mets baseball is back at Clover Park. April's jam-packed with exciting action at the ballpark. There's something for everybody. There's Silver Sluggers Club on Tuesdays. They got $2 night on Thursdays with $2 beers, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn. Every Friday is Vets at the Mets, where veterans and active military get into the ballpark for free. And don't miss the best fireworks show on the Treasure Coast after all 3 Saturday games in April. Visit stluciemets.com to get those tickets today. That's stluciemets.com.
Is your air or water flowing perfectly in your home? If the answer is no, EDS is yes. Theo here, and for me, EDS Air Conditioning and Plumbing is my go-to, and it should be yours too. EDS is Palm Beach County's trusted AC and plumbing expert. They'll make sure your air and water flow perfectly. EDS is a train comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. Go to edsisyes.com. That's edsisyes.com. When comfort matters, EDS is yes.
This is ESPN 1063, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Find official rules for all your favorite ESPN West Palm contests by visiting ESPNWestPalmContests.com. That's ESPNWestPalmContests.com. You're listening to ESPN 1063, the ESPN app, and streaming on your smart speaker.
Hi, it's Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike, and when it comes to the NBA, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I want it all. Tonight, the season winds down, and Miami looks to defend home court as the 76ers come to town. Coverage starts at 7 p.m. here on ESPN 1063.
Breaking news on ESPN 1063 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 1063 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 1063 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 1063 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Introducing the bold, the powerful, the all-new 2025 Range Rover Sport P360 SE. A luxury SUV that commands attention with its refined design, dynamic performance, and cutting-edge technology. Lease the 2025 Range Rover Sport for just $12.99 per month for 36 months. Drive in style, power, and comfort, all for just $12.99 a month. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take the new Range Rover Sport for a spin. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
As many of you know, my sports talking career actually started in sports broadcasting on the television side. Local TV guy. My career actually started in Albany, Georgia, where I was the anchor for the NBC and ABC affiliate down there. And one of the claims to fame for that area was how Vladimir Guerrero started his career and had a hell of a just a stranglehold on that area when he played for the Albany Polecats. Like you would be amazed.
People talk about that?
They do. Out there in South Georgia, in the 229, you'll be amazed with how many people would talk about the time, because remember, when you have that level of talent peak in your area and you're able to go to those games and watch them in person, they just used to tell the tales of how like they were like, this dude is he's going to be great. He's going to be elite. He's going to be the next one.
How far away is Atlanta from Albany?
3 hours.
Okay, so
Albany's
if you want to
3
watch
hours south.
baseball, you got to go to your local minor league team.
Yeah.
That's why.
And that area, again, gravitated towards the minor league team, specifically the Albany Polecats. They had a very strong brand in the area. They're actually closer to Tallahassee, hour 30 north of Tallahassee. So South Georgia and North Florida, like the Panhandle, kind of symbiotic, very similar areas. I say that to say this. Vlad Guerrero, obviously, his greatness doesn't need to be spoke on. Vlad Guerrero Sr., $129 million in total salary with MLB contract signed. If his son, Vlad Guerrero Jr., has a shell of the career that his pops had, he would be great. He'll be grateful. That would be an amazing run. It seems like he has a chance to even outshine him, but he's already out-earned him, because over the weekend we learned Vlad Guerrero Jr. signing a 14-year, $576 million contract extension with the Blue Jays.
Money, y'all. There's poor people around.
Oh my God.
With your broke ass.
That right there is just absolutely legendary. I remember that story as much as well because as I was in Albany between 2015 and 2019, that was the precise time in which Vlad Guerrero Jr. was on the, on the uprising, on the upcoming through the minors. So people were retelling those stories as they're like, oh my God, his son is now balling at a high level.
Especially on that Blue Jays team that he eventually made the main roster and became a mainstay on that main roster with a bunch of other Biggio, like these sons of great Major League Baseball players who are now playing on the same team.
Yeah, it's working out, man. And a lot of times it feels like it's hard to, especially when your father's a Hall of Famer, right? Like nobody expects Bronny to become the level of player that LeBron James is.
Impossible.
It's actually literally impossible for him to ever live up to what LeBron was able to fulfill. Because of the longevity, the greatness, and also it's just like how many people can be a top 2 all-time player. There's no room for error there. But for him to be able to do it, and it feels like in other sports, a lot of times you'll see them outperform their parents. You think about Ken Griffey Jr.
Sure.
Who obviously was a greater pro than his father was. I wonder how many times does it happen in the NBA where it's like also an all-timer, though, and the son becomes better? Because Dell Curry was good. He was borderline. He was a great shooter, but he was never anything close to what Steph has become.
No. I'm trying to think of Bobby Bonds and Barry Bonds. I had to go back in time. I don't know how good Bobby Bonds was
Barry,
historically. Right, but he couldn't have been. But was he like a borderline Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Like one of those guys where, they'll eventually let him in. Like there are guys in Major League Baseball who do that, just a long journeyman who kind of has the cumulative stats, but never really was top 3 at their position.
Howie Long and his sons. Sure. Howie Long, and then you got Chris Long, who probably was the one that probably came the closest to it. But you would say Howie probably still. I mean, you have to look at the details of it. I would assume the consensus is Howie Long, his career greater than what either of his sons were able to do in the league.
A good litmus test will be how Frank Gore's son is now.
Oh, no.
Because isn't he in college, or did he not good enough to get drafted?
No,
or considered to be drafted?
He's on the Bills already. He was a rookie last season for the Bills. He was a UDFA, I believe, and he barely got a chance. And he'll never. I mean, Frank Gore had talk about longevity at a position in which you don't assume you can do so. Frank Gore is one of the all-time great running backs, and we don't talk about that enough.
But again, it's a position that we glorify the peaks. Was Frank Gore ever a top 3 running back in the NFL? No. But over time, when you're top 10 for as long as he was in a position, like you said, who does not reward longevity, it's kind of just he's a unicorn.
He was second-team All-Pro in 2006. That was his second year in the league with the 49ers. So technically right then you could say he was hovering around top 3 or 4, but that was likely, especially with running backs, all it takes is one guy to go down with an injury or play less games, and then it's like you can peak up for a season. You're right, though. He was never heralded as a top 3 consensus guy, but he was good for so long. Like, it's the longevity versus peak debate. From 05 to 2020, this dude's career, 16 seasons as a running back. How much more impressive is Frank Gore than like a Chris Johnson, a CJ2K, who had a peak and then just over with?
But I feel like we don't really talk about either of those guys that much in
say,
today's Sports Talk Radio, but I feel like who might be discussed in a more positive light in terms of how good they were at football, you go Chris Johnson.
Oh, it's crazy.
I think you're remembered by your peaks at those skill positions.
I have a great amount of appreciation for people who are able to be dominant at or let's just say highly impactful, like all-star level players for a very long time. And that's kind of like if LeBron is going to ever eventually win the GOAT debate in basketball, his number one key argument is the longevity at his peak almost. He's putting up peak numbers to this day, it feels like. The longevity has to be at some point
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like it just hasn't been done. Ever will be done.
What the Lakers, Kareem had a super, super duper long career that spanned amongst a couple of different eras in the NBA. LeBron is kind of mirroring that, but also surpassing it because his level of play and his numbers and his importance to his team, a little bit more essential than Kareem down the stretch. But when I look at what LeBron is doing and how last night, again, the Lakers have a chance to win a title now, a legitimate shot. They needed to close out this regular season strong to move out of the 4-5 and to move into the 3 seed. It seems like now they are all but locked into the 3 seed. And again, the benefit of that, if you're Los Angeles, is if you get a 3 seed, that means you don't have to play the Thunder until the Western Conference Finals. Not only have you shown us that you have the key or you have the ability or the formula to beat the Thunder as they hosed them over the weekend, 126-99. They play them again tomorrow night. We'll see how much bounce back Oklahoma City has in that one.
Still only playing for home court if possible in the finals, right? They still have locked
for the
up.
Thunder.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the main thing. They're good in the West. Mm-hmm. Like Josh said a couple of years ago incorrectly, I'm fine in the West. The Thunder are good in the West. They've got that thing locked up. It's more so about if the Cavs can catch them or not for the NBA Finals. Also, 70 wins down the drain. Over with.
Yeah, they lost the Rockets before that.
Yep.
So
shout out Amin Thompson doing it again. Again, they're showing their vulnerabilities, the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're showing themselves to be closer to that regular season team that is able to dominate the 82, but not the 16.
But aren't showing your vulnerabilities a good thing from a team perspective because you're showing it to yourself? You're knowing what you need to adjust before the most important stretch of the year?
Yes, or the other side of that could be teams have always kind of known where they can attack you. They've always known your inefficiencies, but they're not going to play those cards too soon. Like the veteran-laden teams, especially in the NBA, and I think that's one of the detriments of the NBA, so many regular season games and way too many opportunities for coaches and veteran-laden teams to protect their cards, protect their best strategies and their best moves. The defensive coverages that you see during the regular season are a lot more lenient than what you're going to see come postseason, come when you lock into a 7-game series. And I'm curious, when you have, and that's why back when the Lakers made the deal for Luka, and I said, hey, 2 of the top 4 maybe problem solvers in the NBA now are on that Lakers roster with LeBron and Luka. I would think in that sphere, it's probably LeBron, Luka, Jokic, and Curry as the best offensive problem solvers. You show me this look, I'll do this. If you show me this look, I'll give you that. If you try and counter this, you trap this, I'm going to have an answer for the many different ways in which you try and defend me. Those are your top 4, LeBron, Luka, Curry, and obviously Nikola Jokic. The Thunder are going to have to find a way to have a counterbalance act to that because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in back-to-back game against top teams in the West. Again, they played the Rockets, who are the 2 seed. They played the Lakers, who are currently at the 3 seed, lost both of those games, and it seemed like Shai was able to be nullified, and their bigs, which have been this has been the linchpin of their defense, having the 2 big lineups, being able to create a great advantage with rim protection and whatnot. The Lakers were just like, hey, how about y'all come out here on this island and see how much you can guard a Luka step back 3. And when you're done with that, we're going to pull up with Austin Reeves, do the same thing to you on the other side. Like the Lakers they gave the formula 22 3-pointers.
Can I tell you something in confidence?
Franchise record, yeah.
I'm excited for the NBA playoffs.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
I have yet to watch a complete NBA game from beginning to end this year.
Yeah.
But I am actually excited to watch NBA when I get home from work.
I appreciate that. I'm glad that you come around to that. And also, you are like the rest of the general American public, whereas, especially now as we're about to close the door on college basketball, this is Masters Week, which, by the way, it's going to be fun. It's going to be good for you. Congrats on that in advance to be able to take your first steps at Augusta National Golf Club.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to it. I'm just saying. But then also, this is the time of year when it is all eyes on the NBA. The NFL draft will obviously peak up. There'll be some fun stuff with that. But the NBA is going to take the center stage, and the Western Conference is going to be extremely fun. Now, the Heat, they locked into the play-in. They're going to be likely the 10 or 9 seed. I hope they stay at the 10 just in case they lose the play-in game. Better lottery pick. Maybe we can get Walter Clayton Jr. out of Florida. That's my hope. He keeps rising up the damn draft boards now.
Oh, you thought he was going to fall?
He was a second-round projected pick before this tournament started and a lot of the mock drafts and stuff. Even 2 rounds in, he still was like late first. He was falling around like 28, 29 on a lot of the expert mock drafts. Now I'm starting to hear things that's got me a little worried. We'll actually get to that a little later on as well, but my only hope is that the Heat have a good enough pick to get that guy because I feel like our roster is so, like currently constructed, so built for a guy who shoots it at that clip, who can problem solve it in a very strong way offensively, but then also he's a big enough guard. He's not a small guy. He's a big enough guard to where I feel like he won't be a deficient defender. And if the Heat are able to get their hands on him, maybe move off of Tyler Hero, find some kind of trade package that makes sense. Hopefully there's a revitalization of Jaime Jaquez Jr. and Nikola Jovic at some point, but I'll be more optimistic of their future. We weren't supposed to be talking about this. We were talking about the longevity debate with the GOATs of the game. You see what happened? UConn versus South Carolina.
I did. It was no game. I didn't miss anything. At Trump Terrell watching golf all weekend, I didn't miss a single thing with that tip-off at 3 o'clock on Sunday.
2 things happened over this weekend when you talk about embracing longevity as we bring up LeBron James's career. Alexander Ovechkin, Ovi, he surpasses none other than the great one, Wayne Gretzky, for the all-time goal record in the NHL, does it in the same exact amount of games that Gretzky played over his career. And at the same time, Gino Auriemma led the UConn women to a national title over South Carolina in a shellacking, his 12th national championship. His first one came 30 years ago. He has now 12. Oh, he's 12-1 in the national final, which is also probably more incredible than him winning 12 is the fact that he's only lost 1. That's insane.
Yeah, when was that? Like the one loss, was that somewhere recent? Because remember, it was women's basketball was only UConn for the longest time.
Had to be one of those.
It was a laughing stock. It's like wrestling in Penn State right now.
I think it was. Was it not one of those Pat Summitt, Candace Parker years? I'd have to go back and look at it. But yeah, he used to never lose them. Or was it a Brittany Griner? It was either Brittany Griner or Candace Parker. We'll go back and get the details on that. But again, the guy never lost at that stage like that. He showed us why he's one of the great coaches of all time. But here's the question I have. You look at Ovi and his ability to be this good at this age, still able to get a goal when he needs it most. I mean, imagine, take a listen to this. This came from yesterday, earlier in the day. It wasn't a nighttime game. It was everybody had the ability to lock in on it and watch. Alexander Ovechkin scoring the record-clinching goal for all-time goals in the NHL.
I'm going to try to force it to him if he's open. Here is Ovechkin. Shoots! He scores! He scores! Number 895!
This is a guy who is 39 years old, a guy who, again, had a chance to actually beat the record on an empty net goal just a couple of days before. And he's so confident in his own abilities at this age and stage of his career, the grade 8, that he allowed for another game to be played. Wayne Gretzky in the audience watching, and he did not. It wasn't like this was a chip shot. This thing came from pretty far out. Like
it was a slap shot. Yeah. Like you said in the call, they're going to feed it to him, trying to get him open, feed over to score that goal. I loved everything about this, not just because of what you mentioned about how Alexander Ovechkin had the option to score the record-setting goal with an empty netter, but he chose not to because that wasn't right. He didn't think that would be a nice bow to tie atop this chase. What I love is the pressure was on. The race was on to achieve this record in less amount of games.
He had to do it yesterday.
It wasn't just, okay, he'll be here for as long as Alexander Ovechkin wants to be a Washington Capital, so he'll eventually break that record, and it's all fine and dandy. He'll be remembered as one of the best in this generation. No. The pressure was on to score these amount of goals in the amount of time that he had. It didn't look possible about 2 weeks ago. He was no longer on pace to that. But yes, he scored 2 in one game on Friday to get one back and then tie the record, and then scores it on Sunday against the Islanders, like you said, in the same amount of games. One more goal in the same amount of games as Wayne Gretzky.
All of his records were supposed to be unbreakable.
Right.
That's what I've always told about Gretzky. That was the greatness of him, was like he was the unparalleled great in his game. Nobody, like when you talk about, these other sports and it's like, who's the greatest football player of all time? There's a lot of, people question certain things. They name different players. Nowadays, you have more people saying Brady. There's still some that might tell you Lawrence Taylor, or there's still some that might give you other names at different positions, like a Jerry Rice who dominated. The longevity of Brady, the longevity of Gretzky, and then also what we saw last night, the longevity of Alexander Ovechkin, it's hard to argue against. Now, here's the question, though, C-Cat. What is more impressive when a player who obviously needs to be closer to their prime, who obviously athleticism matters in their ability to be great or dominant over a long stretch of time, your body could break down on you. It could not even be your fault. It could be a freak accident, and boom, there it goes. There goes your playing career. When a player's able to be dominant across multiple eras in the sport, or when a coach is able to do it, like Gino Auriemma has been able to do in women's college basketball since, again, last championship, 1995. This championship, 2025. That's a 30-year difference, and maybe no sport has grown tremendously with so much volatility, so much more competitiveness than it used to be when UConn, than women's college basketball. The fact that this guy was able to reach the mountaintop yet again and do it over the coach who many, including myself, consider to be the best college coach currently for today's modern age, and Dawn Staley, and they did it dominantly. I mean, you got to take your hat off to Gino on a day like this. A lot of people are trying to argue whether or not he is the greatest winner of our era, whether or not he's the greatest coach of all time. I just question, is it more incredible that he does something like this, or a guy like Ovi or a guy like LeBron is able to stay so strong, so dominant, so powerful in their playing careers stretching across multiple eras?
I think the player is more impressive because I think the brain is more durable than the human body. That's kind of the brain is part of the human body.
But the brain deteriorates too.
It sure does, but at a much slower rate than your hamstrings. That's what I'm trying to get at there. Where there could be so many generationally great athletes, but their body fails them. And like they just broke a leg. Someone slid on them, landed awkwardly, bam, there goes your ankle, bam, there goes a torn muscle. There's nothing you can do about that. So it's like you're avoiding these mines across your career that can blow it up all up in smoke just like that. One compound fracture, done forever. One torn ACL, MCL, gone, goodbye. It was nice. The potential was there, but it never really came to fruition. With coaching, what are you dodging like that? Just scandals that are well within your control. Don't get in trouble. Do things by the book. That's really all you're dodging. But with athletes and the player, you got to get lucky as well as be great.
Well, I think the difference with coaching is leadership, right? Like, and what is leadership? You're motivating people to come together for a common goal. That's what Gino's had to have to do for over the past 3 decades. And the difference in which I would say I have to give credit to coaches like himself or even Phil Jackson, and again, there's very few great legendary coaches with a lot of titles that span multiple eras of their sport. As like you said, it should be easier to do in coaching. It's rarer than you think. I have to give them credit for being able to reinvent the way in which they connect to the players that they are actually motivating. Gino's 71. For him to be able to connect with this era of players in the modern era, where also now you're talking NIL, now you're talking transfer portal, now you're talking the most competitive that women's college basketball has ever been. Back when he was doing it with the Huskies in the early 2000s and whatnot, it was cookie cutter. He would just roll out the best players because he had the best recruiting class every year, and they would just literally steamroll through folks. Didn't Breonna Stewart, didn't she like lose one game in her whole collegiate career? It was sick what they were doing at a certain point. Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi, like he just had the best talent, and they used to steamroll folks. Now he's having to do so in an era of NIL, in an era of the transfer portal, and also in an era in which high school basketball and youth basketball has been so overtaken with some of these the AAU tour and the shoe deal and the companies and whatnot. So, like, these players' brands and these players' ability to be kind of bought by other entities is so much more invasive, whereas back then it was common nature. If I'm really good at basketball and UConn offers me, guess where I'm going?
UConn.
Yeah, I'm going out there to stores. We're going to hoop.
So are you just giving me the different opinion to show the other side of things, or do you actually believe that?
I still believe, I lean on the side that the players are more impressive, but I will say, if I didn't point it out to you, you would have assumed most likely that there's more coaches that have dominated multiple eras of their sport. When I look into it, into the weeds of things, John Wooden, all of his titles came in a span of like 11 years. Red Auerbach, same thing. A lot of championships, all dominant under one era, one roof. Maybe Bill Belichick in the NFL is the one guy that you can say did it over like, quote unquote, a longer period of time. But then again, he did it at the same stop with the same quarterback. They reinvented the thing a few times along the way, but it felt like the same kind of approach. Phil Jackson, the 90s Bulls, the early 2000s Lakers, and then the late 2010 with Powell and Kobe, that's a bit different. That's doing it at different stops under different eras.
So the adaptability, I just think it's less admirable from the outside looking in to say, yeah, this coach adapted to the players getting paid now versus, yeah, this player adapted. He had to get faster because they were younger, faster, stronger athletes that came into the league that were more in their prime. He had to keep his body strong enough to keep up and overcome these guys. That's more impressive than Gino Auriemma reading NIL for dummies or hiring a bunch of people that knew that stuff and could advise them on that stuff.
But also, too, if you're a coach, you have to motivate people to go out there and do it. You have to teach a bunch of different, like literally different people. You have to teach different generations of kids. Think about how much you can't even relate to a kid who's 19 or 18 in college these days. Think about the rolling interns that come through this office. You're like, oh, y'all think way differently than us. We're talking about a dude that's doing it for a 71-year-old trying to relate to an 18-year-old girl.
Who's making thousands of dollars on TikTok.
That too. It's like that's still that can't go without being said. And the fact that he was able to do so, again, 12-1 in national title games, being able to find a way to connect and motivate that many different things. There's different ways of appealing to it. Whereas if you're LeBron James, his sustained success, and for Ovi as well, and for Kareem back when he did it, their sustained success mostly has to do with them doing them. It's all within their own control. So much out of your control if you're able to do it as a coach, and that's why I got to tip my hat.
But then again, if it's out of your control, then should you credit the person who's in control? The player made the shot. The player boxed out.
That's why I kind of got to give. I got to give it to the GOATs that do it for the longevity on the court in their playing days. Harder on the body. I learned that myself as I was golfing yesterday, and my back hurts still. That's C-Cat. I'm Theo Dorsey. Maybe I'll tell you more tales from the golf course, even though they were mostly embarrassing yesterday, or we'll just hop on the get around. We'll see what happens. This is Theoretically Speaking on Emotion Monday on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Mondays just got better for the men of Palm Beach County. Unlimited Auto Wash is offering $5 off any wash every Monday at all 6 convenient locations. Men's Monday at Unlimited Auto Wash. Don't miss it.
The school district of Palm Beach County is your best choice.
It's time to step into kindergarten. Parents, the School District of Palm Beach County is now enrolling kindergarten students for the upcoming school year. Register now at palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten. Find out when to attend your school's kindergarten kickoff and how to get your free kindergarten readiness kit. That's palmbeachschools.org/kindergarten.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Attention business owners, the next several months are going to be super busy. Why not let us take some of the burden off of you? Get the help you need from Intelligent Office in Palm Beach Gardens. Professional live receptionists to answer, screen, and forward all of your calls to you live. Why do you need a virtual assistant? No high salaries, no holidays or sick pay, no call-outs, no turnover, and no additional equipment. Call 561-472-8400 or visit intelligentoffice.com to learn more how we can help you streamline your day.
Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, proudly representing the residents of South Florida since 1985, and proud supporter of Inter Miami FC on ESPN West Palm. Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has attorneys across South Florida ready to fight for your rights. They've recovered billions for their clients, and you won't pay anything unless you win your case. If you have been injured, call the attorneys at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath, 561-867-4117, or online at foryourrights.com. Main office in West Palm Beach.
The playoffs are heating up, but your home shouldn't. Stay cool with EDS Air Conditioning. Right now, qualified customers can take advantage of 0% interest for 60 months on a brand new AC. Hot streaks belong in sports, not in your home. With over 800 Google reviews and a 4.8 star rating, EDS is the name you can trust since 2006. Visit EDSIsYes.com today. Game day comfort starts now. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
Do you have like a full a putting routine, CCAT? Like, do you try and do the same thing every time over the ball?
No, except for one thing. And I realized I got better because it just gave me more time to think. I got to take the glove off.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
It's a very simple, controllable thing that anyone who's getting into golf should do. Just take your glove off when you putt. It gives you better feel, but more importantly, it gives you time to pause, think, and putt.
Yeah, I have a routine for putting, more so because putting kind of reminds me of, it's not the same, but in basketball with free throws, I feel a lot better no matter what the result is of a free throw when I go through my routine in that consistent way. And I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over. It just starts to feel better. You build up that routine, you build up those good habits, and it works out. For putting, I like to do the same. And my buddy called me out for it as we were golfing over the weekend. My guy, John, I like to put the ball marker down, pick up my ball, and actually wipe it off and reset it before each putt. He thought I was a jerk for doing so because he's like, we're not that good to be sitting here and doing all of that. But I'm like, look, if I'm going to be struggling with the irons, if I'm struggling to get it off the tee the place I want to, and I know the one part of my game I can at least control and feel good about it because I can drain some long putts, I can feel better on the greens when I'm able to knock it in, I'm going to take my time and do my thing up here. And I don't take long, but I do the same thing every time, and he's over here trying to ridicule me for it. Am I the jerk?
No.
For doing that over and over.
You're not the jerk, especially if you guys don't have anywhere to be. It was Sunday, like late afternoon. You're good.
Yeah. We did have two behind us that had to keep watching me do my routine.
After you hit two balls in the trees, took a couple drops?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, honestly, though, we were playing fast enough. It wasn't bad. They weren't on our tails, but every now and then they would see. So they saw my approach shots here and there, and then, the multiple ones it took at times. And then they saw me up there on the greens going through this routine as if I was like Rory McIlroy, like reading the greens and whatnot. And he was trying to let me know that they probably think I'm an idiot. But you know what? Drained some long ones yesterday, so felt good about that.
Man, we're swept up in the golf. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, man. It humbles you. It definitely humbles you. But the Get Around uplifts you because it takes us from the best sports headlines from throughout the weekend, from place to place. Where are we going first?
Next stop.
We're going to Doral, just down the road.
More golf.
Take the Turnpike, take I-95, whatever you want. Trump National Doral was the home of Live Golf Miami over the weekend. You were there on Saturday. I was there on Saturday and Sunday. It was a fun time, but you said golf humbles you. You would think that would happen a little bit less when you become, a multi-millionaire pro golfer for a Live Golf team. No. This course tore the Live Golf pros apart. Ridiculous. The winning score was just 6 under by Australian Mark Leishman and Rippers GC. Their team score, they also give out a team championship, was 7 over.
Wow.
No team was even close to even par.
That's crazy.
At Live Golf Miami. What was your experience like at Live Golf Miami?
It was so good, man. It was a party, man. It was to be honest with you, the laid backness of the crowd, the seemingly like it feels like the players embrace how much more chill it is, how much more of a vibe it is, the music playing at all of the holes, and then obviously for the 4 aces who welcomed us into their hospitality venue where we were able to sit up in that thing. It was like you're sitting in a glass box on all sides. Open bar, great food. The chef there, amazing. The open bar was great, but then also you got 2 different greens you can watch. What was that? The second green,
and the 16th
green.
Drivable par 4 is awesome.
And you can see people tee off from, I believe, what was the third
16.
hole.
Oh, yeah.
You can see people tee off from the third hole as well from there. So you have 3 different opportunities to watch golfers up close and personal. That was a really great experience. It was an A+, man. And the shirts that they gave out, too, very Miami themed, very vibey. I'm going to have to get their people in touch with some other local events. I won't name any names, but hey, they matched the vibe. They gave out some stuff that felt Miami, and other places haven't done so.
When you're watching golf, do you prefer a low score winning in terms of not a lot of birdies, not a lot of eagles, but a whole lot of struggle? Or do you like when it's a hard-ass course where these pros are clearly getting beat up?
No, I like a low score. I like excellent play. I like people feeling like at the top of their game.
Okay.
Now, what I prefer over either low scores or high scores is competitiveness down the stretch. Like, I want those last 4 or 5 holes to count or matter for the leaders. I hate when it's like a runaway and they feel like they have it clinched.
Last several Masters have been kind of wrapped up by hole 12 of the leader. The Scotty years for sure, yeah.
And that I think is everybody's least favorite, unless maybe you got money on the leader.
That's true. That feels good.
Next stop.
We're going to keep rolling with some golf because I saw this out of Savannah, Georgia. Ryan McCormick. Remember that name because he might get incarcerated or something. This guy's crazy. In the golf minor leagues, the Korn Ferry Tour, he taped his mouth shut in order to calm his tempers down. It's kind of ridiculous, so I'm going to let you hear it from him instead because I don't even know how to explain that because that would make me more mad.
Having not so fun time this year on the golf course. Pretty angry and mad, so I figured I've tried a lot of things and I just figured I'd shut myself up, so I put tape over my mouth.
So he wanted to shut himself up to manage his anger. Do you understand this?
It doesn't make sense because it feels like whenever there's something impeding something you're trying to do, it would frustrate you more. So tape over your mouth as you try to yell out a cuss word or yell out some kind of exclamation, it probably would make me even more furious. I would then rip the tape off and act like a more belligerent person. But the fact that he feels like it worked for him must mean that either one, it's more of a reminder. Because one thing it's hard to ignore is tape on your mouth.
That's true.
So maybe it's more of a reminder to not act out, which helps.
Sure, you're in the minors in golf. You're in the Korn Ferry. You're still working your way up. You haven't earned anything extravagant yet.
Also, you're only breathing through your nose, which is healthier for you. So,
yeah, I've seen that. It's a big trend nowadays, too, called mouth tape for people that have trouble sleeping or snore, where they tape their mouths shut and they only breathe throughout their nose throughout the night. Have you ever tried that?
No, I have not tried that. I do snore, so I probably should do something to address said issue. But I will say, breathing through your nose, scientifically, through your nose and out of your mouth is actually is better for your brain and your body.
I feel like I'd wake up and feel like I was getting smothered or trouble breathing. That would terrify me.
Your body's smart.
In the middle of the night at 2 a.m., you wake up and all of a sudden you feel like you've got duct tape over your mouth and you're a hostage situation. I would hate that.
Your body is smart enough to actively then, if your mouth is sealed up, it's going to breathe through your nose. You have survival instincts. Things are going to click up there without you even thinking about it.
When I fall asleep on my stomach, like face down, I wake up in a panic. It happened like last week.
Really?
Seriously. Yes. And this was like 20 minutes after I fell asleep. So my girlfriend to my right was still awake, like on her phone or something. And I wake up in a panic. Terrified because I could not breathe just because I was like maybe a 3-week-old who fell asleep face down.
Got to be honest, man. You sound like an idiot. It's the only way I can tell you.
Back to golf. Boca Raton.
Just lean your face to the side.
We were there on Thursday and Friday despite being an alternate who competed only because someone withdrew at the last second, the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational winner was Angel Cabrera. Yes, it was the first event that Cabrera played since his 2-year prison sentence connected with stuff like assault, theft. I saw intimidating former girlfriends, insane stuff. And if that's not crazy enough, Angel Cabrera winning the first tournament he competed in since being incarcerated for 2 years, yeah, he's going to be playing in the Masters this week. Yeah, he's a former champion, so he gets automatically invited. He won the Masters back in 2009. And me and you, Theo, we actually spoke with this guy.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Did Angel Cabrera, is he the latest beneficiary of the theoretically speaking bump?
Probably.
Because when we get attached to things, when we interact with certain people or teams or organizations, look, I'm wearing the actual TGL championship shirt for the Atlanta Drive Club. We gave them the bump too, somehow, some way. We were at the dessert stand.
Yes, we were
in
at
the clubhouse.
The media dining, just kind of standing there. I was embarrassed because I ate a ham and cheese sandwich instead of this amazing buffet that they had at the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. So I was kind of kicking myself, and I could only eat dessert. So me and you were standing right there talking about the dessert options.
Now, mind you, at this tournament, you have golfing legends, you have NFL, Pro Football Hall of Fame legends, and they're all cool. They're all kicking it. Most people are interacting if you interact with them. So I had just got done dapping up Lawrence Taylor, asking him how he shot him. And he said, he kind of looked at me and told me what you expect. Like, I dominated out there. I think he was lying, by the way. So when I get over there to the dessert stand with you, C-Cat, we're kicking it. We're picking out desserts. I have no clue who this guy is next to us.
Angel Cabrera.
Had no clue. So we're talking about like the strawberry shortcake type delicacies that they have up here. I had no clue what any of their names are. Angel is reaching out as well to find a dessert he wants. And I look over at him and I'm like, can you name any of these things? And he just looked over and kind of like gave like an unassuming, like, I don't know if it was like a chuckle or a...
He didn't give you anything.
He kind of like looked over and just kind of like almost nodded or something. It was just weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he was.
He was locked in on winning this PGA Champions event.
Well, he was eating dessert. He couldn't have been that locked in.
Maybe that's the secret sauce.
And I asked you afterwards.
The key lime tart.
I was like, dude. I was like, what gives with that guy, huh? Guy doesn't he doesn't respect me. He doesn't like me. Who was this guy?
We thought maybe he didn't speak English.
We thought maybe he didn't speak English.
No, he did.
And he does speak English. Not only does he speak English, he ended up being the champion over the weekend for the James Hardy Pro Football Hall of Fame Invitational. So shout out to Angel. You still get the theoretically speaking bump, even though he didn't speak back. We spoke to him. And it was very awkward. Very weird interaction.
Next stop.
Our last stop of today's Get Around brings us outside of the country.
Oh, no.
We're going to the Nassau in Bahamas. I don't know how to say that. Nassau, Bahamas?
Nassau, Bahamas, yeah.
Well, congratulations to the Ibises. Yeah, wedding bells are ringing. The University of Miami's mascot, Sebastian the Ibis, has officially proposed to Gigi the Ibis, and she said yes. It'll be a quick turnaround abroad as the Ibises got engaged today. They will be married tomorrow.
As two great hurricanes seemingly separate, talking about my guy Carson Beck and whichever of the Cavender twins he was shacked up with, we get the union of the Ibises. Got to say, perfect timing. Number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward, to the Titans. That's coming up. We need some inspiration ahead of this football season, as we just suffered one of the worst basketball seasons in the history of the Miami Hurricanes program. So congratulations. Usually I'm all against corny stuff like this, but I love, man.
I don't like the idea of mascots like procreating.
Well, they won't procreate. They just got married. You're putting things on. You're as bad as everybody else that goes to people's wedding and they're like, oh, so when are y'all having a baby? They're just getting married, man.
But, like, I don't need a Mr. and a Mrs. Met. Like, we get it. You guys are not real beings. That's a costume that you put on We don't need you to have a real background in life to pretend that you live in the Met world where everyone has baseball heads. I don't need to pretend that an ibis can talk and dance and root for Miami.
Well, to be fair, ibises or ibi, how do you say plural ibis?
No idea.
To be fair, in real life, they do mate. They do get married. I don't know if they get married, but they do procreate in real life, whereas a Met head is a fake thing. So I think it's justified on Miami's behalf.
We made 3 different Instagram posts about this union.
What else we got to talk about right now?
That's true. Not in the national championship game. Sorry, Miami.
Shut up.
Next stop.
The next up is the Happy Hour with Tina.
Happy Hour with Tina. Lock in. It's going to be a fun one. That's CCAT. I'm Theo Dorsey with Theoretically Speaking on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, ref. Time out, man. All right, team. We're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man!
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in. We begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
Embark on a culinary road trip through South Florida at the 2025 Orange Bowl Food and Wine Celebration, presented by Florida Blue. An evening of foodie fun awaits on Friday, April 11th at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, with unlimited food and drink tastings from over 40 of South Florida's top restaurants and chefs, and dance the night away with the live band and DJ. Tickets start at just $125, and proceeds benefit Orange Bowl Care's community initiatives. Get your tickets at orangebowl.org.
Get ready to elevate your driving experience with the all-new 2025 Range Rover Velar P250 Dynamic SE. A stunning blend of luxury, performance, and technology that will make every drive unforgettable. Right now, you can lease the new Velar for just $759 per month for 36 months. Yes, only $759 a month for a luxury SUV that sets new standards on the road. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
The college basketball mania is here, so grab your MVP card and head on over to Duffy's to enjoy their courtside favorites, famous award-winning jumbo wings, certified Angus beef burgers, and 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. You'll never miss a minute of the action. And while it's tournament time, it's also Taste of Ireland time with special items like Irish potato skins and a Reuben burger. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to find a Duffy's near you. And remember, Duffy's, our game is always on.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell it.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
Streaming live on YouTube.
You're gonna break up with me because of what I do on the radio?
Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. It is the happy hour here on Theoretically Speaking. We have entered that time of the day. This is it. You've made it, good people. You've made it. 3 o'clock hour. C-Cat's on the other side of the glass on the ones and twos. And if you're tapped in on our YouTube stream, you see we have the return of Tina to her rightful place here on the happy hour with her good friends. Tina, you're back. It was chilly where you were. You were on a trip.
It was freezing where I was last week. I had multiple layers on. I got to wear a beanie a few times throughout the week, which I love wearing beanies.
I'm a fan of the beanie too. Out of hats, like where does that rank for you? I'm a bucket hat number 1. Beanie's probably number 2 for me.
Trucker hats are my number 1.
Okay.
I love my trucker hats, but I don't get to wear a beanie enough here in South Florida because anytime I've ever worn a beanie in South Florida, I get the strangest looks.
Yeah.
Because it's not cold enough here to do that.
You look at 2012 hipster.
Yeah, like it's like more for style here.
Right.
Like it's for fashion.
You're trying a little hard if you have a beanie on out here.
Yes.
You're forcing it.
But I have multiple beanies too, and I'm from here, have always lived here, but I love beanies, and I was so happy that I got to wear one a few times this past week.
The highlight of your trip.
Kind of, yeah. I loved wearing my beanies.
Also, a very strange situation with Wi-Fi that we're going to have to address as well with you.
I forgot about that.
Which is, I would be creeped out if this happened.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you were as well. So before we get into that, we're going to get a cocktail of the day from you. Quick news note that is specific to this area people are going to care about. In the midst of March Madness, as we know, the transfer portal opens before we even can close the door on the college basketball season. And one of the latest people to make their choice, their decision, we heard about this on Sunday, point guard Nick Boyd. You may know him from his Final Four run with FAU. He spent the past couple of seasons with the Aztecs of San Diego State, which ironically was the team to bounce FAU in the Final Four. Also, ironically, that jumper that Lamont hit was over Nick Boyd. He ends up going on and being an Aztec the next couple of years. He announced his commitment to none other than the University of Wisconsin, continuing his collegiate basketball career, taking his talents out to Madison, Wisconsin. And as I think about how that aligns with the fact that, well, Tina, where the hell were you this week?
I was in Wisconsin.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? A little South Florida to Wisconsin pipeline happening out here, C-Cat.
Nice. This guy's old now, isn't he?
He is pretty old.
It's profitable to stay in college these days.
It is. The NIL money is very good. And I will say, too, for a guy like Nick Boyd, he's just such a good college guard. I do wonder if he ends up getting a chance to be an overseas basketball player. He might have a chance to even make some buzz and maybe be a guy that can jump into the league some way on the back end, depending on how this last year in Madison goes. But I do think the best thing to come from NIL is just forced some coaches into retirement. It has made some programs irrelevant and is giving others a chance to compete. The best thing to come from NIL is the chance for these guys to stay in school extra, get another year under their belt, working towards their career, but then also be able to get compensated for basketball in a way that they weren't able to do 10, 20 years ago. So big shout to Nick Boyd as he goes to Wisconsin for another year of college basketball. Another former FAU Owl with the Florida Gators, Elijah Martin. He'll get a shot at a national title tonight.
Yeah, another reason to root for Florida is Elijah Martin on that roster tonight. Gives you just a reason to have skin in the game. Because often, like me, I'm a college basketball enjoyer when it is David versus Goliath. I love the underdog story. When you've got a Final Four that has all 1 seeds, it's hard to find that David and who's the Goliath. We kind of had that with Houston and Duke.
Yeah.
Like, there was definitely expected that Duke won that game. But in this game, root for your local guy, kind of, Elijah Martin.
I will say this too, man. C-Cat, for a person that loves David versus Goliath and picking the underdogs, when we played our game, our national champion game, where we got our draft of our eventual men's basketball national champions, all he did was go to Hard Rock Bet, go to the shortest odds, and pick his teams from there. Guess who, Tina, is the only person that does not have a shot in this title game tonight?
Christian Cat.
Christian Cat, C-Cat. So we'll get to that as well. But first, can we get our cocktail of the day?
Yes, you can. And again, I was in Wisconsin last week, so I am doing.
Were you in a mansion in Wisconsin?
I wish.
Yeah.
I was not. I was far from that.
Dang.
Okay.
Right. You're killing the crib. Okay. Well, what's our cocktail of the day?
Be relatable to everybody.
A brandy old fashioned sweet.
Wait, how is this like typed up? Is it brandy old fashioned, sweet?
So I have no idea. I asked some of our Wisconsinites in the office here, and they're like, "There's multiple ways you could do a brandy old fashioned, sweet, sour."
Oh.
They told me other ways that I've never heard of before, and I was given a sweet recipe.
Okay.
This is sugar cubes, cherries, orange, bitters, brandy, and a splash of Sprite.
So you just throw them all in one cup, shake it up, and drink it?
I guess so.
So
I looked up a recipe online, and I read it out loud, and the Wisconsinites in the office were like, no. I can tell you exactly how to make it. And they just gave me all that. And I was like, okay,
Wait, but you gotta
great.
muddle things.
You
and
gotta muddle
use the
oranges,
rind.
I know.
Yeah.
There's no lime, cherries.
I said rind.
Oh.
Rind. R-I-N-D.
I have no idea. I'm giving you all the ingredients, though. Just go buy it if you want.
Aren't old fashions very, very intricate? Like
I've
there's
never had
things like
one.
you take a lighter to it and you zest it real quick and it makes the aroma around the glass. I think that's essential to an old fashioned is the way in which you make it, not what you make it with.
Well, you know what? I'll go ask the Wisconsinites in our office here during the break, and they will give me.
Those alcoholics will drink rubbing alcohol.
Yes, I didn't have an old fashioned while in Wisconsin, but I did have a spotted cow.
It's a beer, right?
It's a beer. You can only get in Wisconsin.
I spent all of this time trying to figure out what the difference between brandies and cognac was, and I found out that cognac is a brandy, which kind of all makes sense. So yes, you know brandies.
So can you offer your brain to us since you are the biggest cocktail guy? How do you make an old fashioned?
An old fashioned? Well, you usually would use a whiskey and not a brandy, or especially not a cognac, which I don't think I would like in this. Is this a Wisconsin themed drink?
It's a brandy
This
old
is what they
fashioned.
do?
Sweet.
I would not want to do that. That
That's what
actually
they do to
sounds
hibernate.
terrible.
Puts them to sleep.
Because an old fashioned itself is generally it's going to be most parts whiskey. So I would go 2 parts whiskey, a big block of ice. Use some bitters. Bitters are optional, but a lot of times I like to throw some bitters in there. Sometimes orange themed. You get an orange peel. You make sure you, I think you call it aerate it. You aerate it around the rim.
The rind of it, right?
Yes, right around the rim, just to give it that orange aroma.
And don't you light it on fire real quick?
You can. You can. That's optional. But then also one of the keys to it as well is the way in which you actually add sugar to it. Back in the day, they would go straight to the sugar blocks, actual sugar cubes. These days, a lot of time people use simple syrup or some other kind of sweetener. But I think the biggest delineation in how people do old-fashioned these days is what they use to sweeten it.
All right.
But yeah, it's just sugar.
This one's
whiskey.
a sugar cube, right?
Are these
Sugar
sugar
cube.
cubes on that?
Yeah,
Okay,
sugar
cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's about right. I just think that I would never put cognac or a brandy in it. I would always go with a whiskey. So that's a little. I just don't like cognac like that. But thank you.
You're welcome.
That is our cocktail of the day. A brandy old fashioned sweet. Brandy old fashioned sweet, and that is presented to you by Duffy's. Duffy's, who by the way, we gave out our MVPs of the weekend. I gave it to Kelvin Sampson, who hopefully solidifies that for me. But as you know, college basketball mania is here. Most importantly, Duffy's are all around. If you want to find a place to watch the game tonight, you might want to do that at a Duffy Sports Grill. Grab your MVP card, head on over to Duffy's, and enjoy their courtside favorites. They got famous award-winning jumbo wings, certified Angus beef burgers, and of course, 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. Ask them for the old-fashioned brandy, sweet. Maybe they can shake that up for you. What I do know they can have for you is 80 or more television, so you'll never miss a minute of any of the action, no matter if you're watching the big game tonight, and if somebody else wants to watch whatever sporting event fancies them, maybe they're an ESPN Classics guy and wants to watch an old college football game. Well, that will not interfere with what you got cooking, because there's a lot of options for viewership at a Duffy Sports Grill. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to check out a menu and find a Duffy's near you. And remember, at Duffy's, our game is always on. Yeah, I would never order that. I ain't gonna lie. But you wouldn't order that for sure.
No, I'm kind of weak. I'm a sissy when it comes to the drinks that I do enjoy when they're alcoholic. I've just gotten into hard ciders. That's kind of the hardest I go.
How many transfusions did you have over the weekend with all the golf? CCAT, you were at a golf tournament like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday between Live Golf and the James Hardy.
Let's see. Add up. I only had a couple of transfusions, but how many alcoholic drinks I had post-work, mid-weekend, I probably had double digits, probably 12, spread out across 4 days.
It's hard not to when you're kicking it at a golf tournament, like, watching some folks.
Especially when each spot had open bar. That was kind of irresponsible to have not more than double digits, I'll be honest.
If open bar is available for you, you got to kind of tap in on.
Man, the rum punch, you kidding me?
I didn't have any rum punch.
That's what I'm saying. when can you get free rum punch? That's always like the $18 cocktail that I think about, and then no, I go with my bottled hard cider instead.
Is rum punch a delicacy?
It's just any cocktail.
Okay.
It's on the cocktail menu.
Yeah,
it's like you turn your $50 dinner into a $100 dinner by getting 2 drinks.
Yeah. I'm a margarita guy. Spicy margarita. Mango.
I went to a wedding last weekend right before I left for Wisconsin, and one of the drinks of the his or hers was a spicy margarita.
Yeah.
Open bar. Had double digits of those probably. They were amazing.
Ride with me. For my wedding, our one specialty cocktail was, I think we called it the Miami Heat. And it was some form of a mango spicy margarita, and that thing didn't make it past the cocktail hour. We actually didn't, again, it's myself and my wife, who were we were the esteemed guests of the evening. We didn't even get a chance to have any of
our. Oh, they didn't put one aside for you?
So they tried to, I believe. Our friends all drink it all up.
Oh, wow.
I'd be kind of bitter about that.
You know your audience, at least.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone likes it.
Right. And I was a little bit angry. I mean, other things were going on, so I got over it quick. You know what? Hindsight, I do remember there at one point the wedding planner actually did hook up something on the side where we both got to try a glass of it before we made our appearance. But we didn't get to drink it like they did. They tore that sucker up. It did not make it to the reception.
So Theo, you can answer this question. When thinking about planning a wedding and doing that stuff, where's the line between being too selfish, making the best things that you and your wife will enjoy, versus what will everyone enjoy? Because you're just two people. No, it's all about you.
It's all about you that day, I think. I would assume.
But I know for a fact if I get the only things I want or what my girlfriend would like if we get married.
We are going to get Angry Orchard to sponsor it.
Yes, that would be nice.
There you go.
I mean, I love Angry Orchard. I think me and maybe 1% of everybody else there would probably order that on their own accord.
But
then again, it's
really it's the drink for them. But I didn't have to order a spicy margarita. I could have ordered anything at the open bar.
Okay.
But I saw the his and hers drink. One was a whiskey, which I don't drink whiskey, and one was a spicy margarita. And I'm like, that is me right there. I would like that. But if I didn't want that, I could have had anything I want.
Devontae, who's in our YouTube chat right now, who was at my wedding, he put a no cap with 18 exclamation because he was probably one of the people that drank up the damn.
Yeah, he's still
Miami
buzzed
Heat.
right now, actually.
Right, still feeling it. Give it back. I want that. I heard it was actually really good. I do not remember tasting it because there was so much else going on. But I will say that I'm one of those guys that likes to actually embrace the theme of the day, kind of do the win in Rome thing. So I'm like you, Tina. Whenever I go somewhere and I see there's like a cocktail of the day or a his and hers, I try and go and do it. And I think that's kind of part of what a wedding is about anyways. Like, I'm going to pick the things I like. Y'all try it out. Enjoy that experience with me. Maybe we have some commonalities down the line. It's like a fun little roundabout there. Maybe we all can share some good things. Did y'all, speaking of shared experiences, did y'all check out the White Lotus season finale? Did you get around to it?
No, I have heard about that show.
It was great.
By everyone. So I feel like I need to watch it.
Yeah, you didn't.
I see the hope in your eyes that we can connect on this topic, and no. Dude, I watched the first episode of it, and I was like, I don't like this show that much.
Wow.
I watched the first season, I watched the second season, and I watched episode 1 of season 3, and I was like, I'm good, actually. I'm only watching this show because everyone around me is, and I don't enjoy it that much.
I will say season 2 is still the best season overall. Season 1 of White Lotus, which, again, you can find on Max, which is, I think they're all incredible. That was the slowest one and the hardest one to, keep watching, but it's easier if you watch it, you, kind of binge it. I think season 3 is closer to season 1 where you got to binge it, but I do think the payoff from the finale was worth it. It was great. We watched it last night. The one takeaway I was going to give y'all from this was Duke, the university, Duke comes out of this thing looking the absolute worst. And it's not because of how one of the main characters was a Duke alum and it kind of played up the pretentiousness as well as he got into a bit of a scandal here and there. Did you see where they're like a vice president of communications for Duke or whatever came out against Max and against the White Lotus creators because they had this guy wearing a Duke shirt in times of like despair. There was one time where he kind of was holding you saw
I
it.
saw the still shot. Yeah, just threatening his own life.
These softies over there in Durham over here, like, oh, you guys are threatening, and the image of Duke does not represent this, and stop a cease and desist. Like, shut the hell up.
Trying to think of a comparable example of that where someone would get mad. I guess
Glad they lost.
A restaurant who's like represented poorly in a movie probably wouldn't be happy about that, right? Like a chain?
Maybe. I feel like there's a lot of people that like dunk on Arby's all the time, but I don't see their vice president of communications getting out there. And, like, this is the internet age. This is social media, the memes, the trolls. You can't lean in on that stuff because it's only going to highlight it further.
I guess the sore spot, because you're perpetuating a stereotype. Like you are furthering that through, and people might not know that Duke alum and Duke students are known for being pretentious and uppity as they are portrayed in Max, but now they do. Now, whenever they think of Duke University, they think of someone who thinks they're better than everybody else.
Don't they like that? They kind of lean in on that. They're elitists.
Really? I've never met someone that went to Duke, so I honestly can't speak on that.
You hear the way Jay Williams talks about basketball?
See, this
and he only went
like,
to Duke like a year and a half.
I don't know. Theo, I don't think you've met anyone that went to Duke.
Yes, what are you talking about?
Well, you never gave me an example of someone that you work with day to day or that you knew in real life.
I can give names of people, but you don't know them. Why would I tell you names?
And do you like those people?
Oh, the hesitation.
Yeah. No. Oh, okay.
Okay.
They're fair. They're good people. Like
I guess you got to cover
I was
your butt
thinking of
here.
the multiple people. I'm thinking you're covered. So.
Okay, I thought you were doing one of those things where.
I also worked in North Carolina for a full year.
That's a good point. You probably should.
I know a good number of people that went to Duke.
But when sometimes in sports media or just in entertainment media in general, you perpetuate these stereotypes, like, you know how blank fans are, when in reality, that person who says that doesn't know any fans of that team or people from that area, but just absorb stuff from online and talk about it as a proven fact. Unless you experience Duke fans being uppity, I don't think you can say that's how they are, even jokingly. I have never met a Duke fan, so I'm not going to perpetuate the stereotype.
Or a Duke alum. You've met Duke fans, never met a Duke alum.
Yeah, I guess kind of. I guess I don't associate the two.
Yeah.
I think they're big enough to where I can't hold Duke fans against Duke alums.
Right, you can't. There's a clear delineation because they're like a national brand.
Yeah, you're not smart enough to get into Duke.
Ooh. See, you're helping them.
Well, it's a hard school to get into. There's proven facts with that, right?
Yeah, it is.
Prerequisites and
I guess
such.
that's what gives them the right, I guess, to be elitist and a little pretentious and a little uppity about the fact that they went to Duke. They're Dukies.
Don't you earn that, though?
I don't know.
Unless your mom or dad got you in on a technicality and a connection, which does happen
all the time
in college. But if you earn yourself a 4.0, you got all the extracurriculars, I think you kind of earn that. Maybe nod. That little bit of credibility that maybe someone else doesn't have.
So if a person that went to Duke was acting like a jerk to you, and it's because they went to Duke and you didn't, you would be like, he's kind of right.
I would say he's probably kind of smart if I know that it didn't come from a connection that he had socially.
Yeah, but how would you ever know? Does a basketball scholarship count as a connection?
No.
Because it might be even more impressive if you earn your way into Duke with a basketball scholarship.
That's true.
Versus just getting in there academically. I respect that even more. Shout out my dog, Suleiman from the Mo.
Tyler Hero's a Duke guy, isn't he?
No, he's Kentucky. Why would you think he was Duke?
Blue. I don't know.
Okay.
Kyle Guy, Virginia, kind of looks similar.
I guess you're white guy in blue and white, and you're like, Duke.
Certainly looping that all in together.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, honestly, most times you try that, you're going to be right. But that was actually Kentucky, Tyler Hero,
close.
Who wouldn't be a jerk. That's why he didn't go to Duke.
JJ Redick.
Think about all the Duke alum. They're all jerks.
JJ Redick is kind of a jerk.
Absolutely a jerk.
Good at what he does,
pretentious.
but probably a jerk, yeah.
And pretentious. Grayson Allen.
Yeah, he's only known for doing that now.
Yeah.
Has he been good in the NBA?
He's had sparks in the NBA. He's been good. He's actually an additive player in your lineup. You don't want to lean on him a lot, but the Bucks used him very well. I think did he win a ring with them? I think he was on that team with Giannis, 21.
Anthony Davis? Kentucky, not Duke.
Yeah, that's Kentucky, man.
I'm thinking of blue
You're really
guys.
conflating your
Jason
blue and
Tatum?
Duke.
Jerk.
We're like 100%. We're like 100% right now.
Who are some other Duke basketball players that
Kyrie
aren't
Irving.
Okay.
Kind of a jerk.
Yeah. I don't want to go into the Christian Leightoners and
I mean, obviously
that's
jerk.
obvious,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly. But just
Shane Battier, not a jerk, but definitely a little bit elitist, a little bit. I'm going to talk over your head a bit, but he's very likable. He's one of the more likable Dukies.
Sure.
But he wasn't that likable until he really got to the Heat. Back when he was on the Rockets and he was doing all of that like analytical stuff, all the just corner threes and taking charges, people hated Shane Battier. It's hard to go to Duke and not be hated. I don't know what that is.
Well, I think you almost what came first, the chicken or the egg? Everyone hates you when he put that jersey on. So it said, you know what? I'm going to prove you right. It's Duke versus the world in their brains.
Let's do this. Who's the most likable Duke basketball alum of all time? I think it's Shane Battier. Who's the most likable Duke basketball alum of all time? It would be easiest to do a list of the hated ones because they mostly all are. Who's the most likable? 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. I want to hear from the audience because maybe you are like, oh, you guys are missing something here. It could be even Tatum just because he doesn't really move the needle in either direction.
Unless you're a Pelicans fan, should you hate Zion Williamson?
Devontae, who's a Duke fan, says Justice Winslow is a great guy, and I got to agree with him. And he's a national champion with Duke.
Luol Deng
is very likable unless you are former GM of the Hawks, whose name I will go unsaid right now.
Seth Curry went to Duke.
He sure did. He transferred in, though.
All right.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe he didn't get all that hate, plus his brother was big name, so.
RJ Barrett's got a lot of fans. When he touched New York, they loved him in New York. Where's he at now? Not in New York, I think.
RJ Barrett with the Raptors.
Maybe they like him there. I don't know. I'm not in touch with any Canadian fans.
Canadian.
I don't know anyone from Canada.
Can we do we have time? Grant Hill. Grant Hill was a good call. But again, we've got
time for whatever you want to have time for.
I want to do a last call. I want to do a last call earlier, though.
Why?
Can we do a last call now?
Do you have to leave?
Can a last call be presented by none other than Kaiser University?
Sure can. That's the first call you should make.
I was about to say, because whilst Duke is known for its championships and they're unlikable, Kaiser's known for its championships and they're very amenable people, very likable. In fact, they're welcoming. Champions are all over the flagship campus of Kaiser University in West Palm. They are also going to be presenting you this last call. And the Kaiser Seahawks have won 24 national titles, including back-to-back national championships in men's lacrosse. They've got 4 straight NAIA women's swimming and diving titles, and, of course, the 2023 football champions. They've actually reached the final the year after, and Miles Russ and the boys, following their spring, they're going to be looking to get back to that stage once again. Shout out the basketball team. Coach Chief Marcus Bryant led them to the tournament for the first time in a while, and he's also the Sun Conference Coach of the Year. Kaiser Seahawks are soaring. Tap in with them at KUSeahawks.com for all things Kaiser University Athletics, KUSeahawks.com. You could even hear Chris Swagger on Russo and Rizzo once a week. What do you call that segment?
Ask the AD. He'll be here next week.
Yeah, athletic director for Kaiser, who knows all things Kaiser Athletics. Tap in with that, Kaiser Seahawks Athletics, KUSeahawks.com. Time now for our last call, presented to you by the homie Tina. And Tina, did you bring a jacket back with you from Wisconsin? Did you leave it out there? Did whatever you had? Like, how did the packing for the cold go?
It was kind of easy to pack for the cold because I don't have many clothes for the cold.
So you did just you brought it out there and brought it back. I thought you
Yes.
maybe bought stuff out there. Okay.
No, I ended up brought everything there and back.
What we rocking with for the last call today?
Last call is going to be very different today. Instead of a fill in the blank, we're going to do Wisconsin trivia.
Oh, wow.
And I'm going to ask you 3 questions.
Timely.
Hey, I told him before that I needed time.
Wisconsin trivia. That's why we did it early, C-Cat.
All right.
Should we wait? Do we have time?
No, we have time.
Okay.
So we do it now.
I'm saying that this only relates to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And Nick Boyd, former FAU Owl, who is now a Wisconsin Badger.
Hyper local. Let's do it.
What do some Wisconsinites call a water fountain?
A spout.
The loo.
No.
The hose.
A water fountain.
No.
Agua.
No, that's just water.
Okay.
Spigot.
No.
Okay.
We can give up if we need to.
What
Move on.
is it?
It's a bubbler. They call it a bubbler.
Why would they? What the hell
I
is
don't
that?
know. Doesn't make sense.
Okay, what's next? What's the next one? Because nobody was ever going to get that, and also they're weird for doing that.
This is very crazy to me, but where's the water park capital of the world located?
Madison, Wisconsin.
No.
Wait, the water park capital of the world. I'm assuming it's in Wisconsin.
It's got to be.
It's not Green Bay. They have a lot going on there.
They
That's
got
not
way
water
too much.
park.
Yeah.
Milwaukee.
No. You probably will never get this because I only know
Cedar Rapids.
That's
Michigan. But no.
Cedar Point.
No.
That's Ohio.
Wisconsin Dells.
Where?
Wisconsin Dells.
That's a city.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin.
Yes. No idea how Wisconsin's the water park capital of the world, but
Texas
they are.
City, Texas. Also, yeah, how long is that thing even open? It was frozen probably while you were there.
They have like indoor water parks.
Okay.
Yes. So yes.
Grey Wolf Lodge type beat.
Last one. What is the name?
I don't know what the hell that is.
What's the name of the groovy television series that focuses on a group of 6 teenagers?
70s Show.
Good job.
I like that, dog. When it comes to trivia and knowing things, theoretically speaking's GOAT is your boy, Teddy D. I do that for real.
I never watched the show. I just like the one clip of Ashton Kutcher, which I probably should because I like Mila Kunis and I like Ashton Kutcher. I don't like the redhead chick, though. I don't like her voice.
What else were you going to say about that 70s show? What else did they have going on?
It was just living in Wisconsin.
So
I didn't get to finish it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I just jumped on it
no,
because I'm that astute.
You got it.
I never understood the point of that show.
It's a sitcom, situational comedy.
Huh.
That maybe people that grew up in the 70s would relate to.
It's incredible insight right there from CCAT. On the other side, maybe more great intel like that from the Cat Man, who also didn't even know it was that 70s show. That's CCAT. That is Tina. It's the happy hour, and theoretically speaking, a little trivia for the Wisconsinites that tap in. We're on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
It's the Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. 2 bets facing off. Winning side splits $250K in bonus bets every single day. Time to pick a side. Team underdogs or team favorites. Team over or team under. There's one way to settle this. Hard Rock Bet Battle of the Bets. Pick a side for $1. Win your share of $250K or more today. Prize pool to be paid out in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
This is the Inter Miami save of the game.
Attacking third, hard drive to the net. Plays it through. Callender had to make a save. A rebound. It's still loose in the box. Blocked away, and now a right-footed shot off the far right post by Corbino. Is it pinballed all over the place in Callender's area? And it rolls out of play.
Brought to you by PNC Bank. PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. PNC Bank, National Association member FDIC. Breaking news on ESPN 106.3 is brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
This just in, we begin this hour with breaking news.
When news breaks, ESPN 106.3 has it covered.
We've had developments. ESPN 106.3 can now report.
When your vehicle breaks, St. Lucie Battery and Tire fixes it. Stay tuned to ESPN 106.3 for more breaking news. Brought to you by St. Lucie Battery and Tire.
The college basketball mania is here, so grab your MVP card and head on over to Duffy's to enjoy their courtside favorites, famous award-winning jumbo wings, certified Angus beef burgers, and 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. You'll never miss a minute of the action. And while it's tournament time, it's also Taste of Ireland time with special items like Irish potato skins and the Reuben burger. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to find a Duffy's near you. And remember, Duffy's, our game is always on.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new 2025 Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful 2025 Defender 110 P300S for just $889 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have clean, refreshing water just like a slam dunk. Schedule your free consultation today at Culligan.com. Culligan, your partner for better water.
Hey, Culligan man! Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh, did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Hi, this is Scott Smith of Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, Florida Injury Lawyers. I have said it many times before, and I will continue to say it for many years to come. There is never a good time for a car accident to occur, and most certainly never ever a good time to suffer injuries in any type of an accident. The accident and its overall aftermath will usually cause pain, difficulty, and stress. Florida law allows accident victims to recover compensation for such losses, injuries, and damages. But such recovery is often not obtained easily and can require a lengthy fight with an insurance company. If you've been injured in an accident, call us now. Don't delay. The initial consultation is completely free of charge. The sooner you call us, the sooner we can put our experienced legal team to work for you. Don't hesitate or pause for another minute. Our experience, knowledge, and resources could be working for you just minutes after the call. If you've been injured, the lawyers at Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather will help. Call us at 500-HELP, 500-HELP. With Smith Ball, Baez, and Prather, help is just a phone call away. Offices Palm Beach Gardens, Boca Raton, and Port St. Lucie.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
The Club at Lost Lake, a championship Fazio design golf course in Hope Sound. Golf and social memberships are now available with no waiting list and immediate access. The course and club will see over $10 million in capital improvements and is one of the best private club values in the area. Experience the beauty and challenge of this renowned course for yourself. Enjoy year-round access to exclusive amenities and events. Elevate your game, elevate your experience. Discover the Club at Lost Lake. Visit clublostlake.com to schedule a visit today.
Hey, y'all get some more drinks going on. I sound a whole lot better.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking. Streaming live on YouTube, here's Theo Dorsey.
The all-time leader in goals in NHL history, that changed hands. Alexander Ovechkin at 39 years old, obviously in great shape to be able to eclipse Wayne Gretzky and to do it on his own terms. Huge for him. And again, for him to do that at this age, like LeBron, like Brady on the back end of his career, they took care of their bodies. Tina, you're used to taking care of your body, and you're starting from an early age. You're not waiting around till you're 40, 50 years old.
No, I'm starting now. And I was going crazy. I didn't work out for a week, and I was going insane.
Out in Wisconsin.
Yes, I was out in Wisconsin. There was not an F45 near me. So this morning, I came back last night. 5:15 a.m. this morning, I'm at F45. I got a full body workout in. Felt amazing. Some upper, some lower body. 45 minutes, you're in, you're out. You break a sweat. They've got hybrid days where it's some cardio and some strength. Cardio only days, strength days. Take it slower, lift heavier. A coach there to help you if you need some modifications. Again, you can go at your own pace. I was off for a week. I'm like, I'm not going to go crazy heavy. I'm going to take it easy, slowly get into it. And you can do that at F45. Go to F45 Palm Beach Gardens or F45 West Palm Beach. Check out their Instagram pages to see the specials that they've got going on, or go to F45training.com to see the closest location near you.
This is a incredibly interesting headline out of the NFL, and we got an update to it today. Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe, he is not widely thought of as a great quarterback prospect. He wasn't even a good college quarterback. In fact, he was on an Alabama offense that completely underwhelmed this past year. We found out yesterday that he accepted an invite from the NFL to be in the green room for the NFL draft in Green Bay, Wisconsin on April 24th. That is round 1 of the draft. That's when things tip off. Mel Kiper right now currently has him as the 5th best available quarterback, which generally in a bad quarterback class does not end up making it in the first round, likely going to fall into the second round. All of his projections are day 2 at best, but Milroe accepts the invite to the draft. And adding on to this, Jordan Schultz of Fox Sports said that Milroe impressed at private workouts with the Browns and the Saints. He also met with key people with the Jets and the Steelers at his pro day. That is your Baptist Health Orthopedic Care off-season football report. Jalen Milroe, who has no guarantees of going in the first round, accepted his green room invite to be there on the day of the draft and have the cameras cutting to him every time there is a potentially quarterback-needy team picking. CCAT, Tina, I am curious on your behalf because we've seen this go the absolute wrong way year after year. The latest example of it would be Will Levis of the Titans now, who we all thought would be a first-rounder coming out of Kentucky. There was all these mock drafts, people projecting him in the late 20s, the early 10s, some of them as high as a top 10 pick. He ends up falling to the second round. He has to sit in that green room, has the camera cutting to him left and right, people making memes about his girlfriend and whatnot. Now he's an NFL player, but certainly didn't work out. You think about the Aaron Rodgerses. You think about the guys like even, not Jordan Love per se. Jalen Milroe accepting this invite is a huge risk. There's a good chance he's the one that continues to fall that we keep getting cutaways to. Does he know something we don't know, or is he taking a gigantic risk of becoming a meme here?
I think he's listening to the wrong people and trusting the wrong people, because I feel like these organizations, they're people. They kind of want to tell you what you want to hear. And if there's an inkling that maybe someone in the 20s or someone in the late 10s might be looking at Milroe at quarterback if he's available, they'll give him that glimmer of hope because that'll make him feel good. And you're not obviously contractually obligated to now draft Jalen Milroe just because you said, yeah, we're thinking about you at 17. The Steelers might be thinking about a quarterback if they stay put where they are, and that's pretty deep in the draft. But you said 5th quarterback available according to Mel Kiper. I can think of 3 quarterbacks. I can't think of 4. Who's the 4th guy? Jackson Dart's probably the 3rd best quarterback available. Yeah. Shedeur Sanders probably 2nd. Cam Ward probably 1st. And I'm trying to find
Dylan Gabriel.
4. Dylan, wow, I haven't heard his name attached to any organization when it came to draft season. I know we're a little bit far out, but for a guy that led that Oregon team to a record offensive output performance in their first year in the Big Ten, I haven't heard any buzz from him.
Oh, you know what? Actually, it's the Louisville quarterback, Tyler Show. That's who's at 4 for him. So he has Cam Ward, obviously 1, Shedeur 2, Jackson Dart 3, Tyler Show from Louisville 4, then Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers, and Dylan Gabriel behind Milroe. Even still, not necessarily a projected first-round pick. Would you risk it? Would you risk it if you're – because I think about both sides of it. Number one, what do you have to gain from this? If you are picked in the first round, you do get to have the moment on stage in person at the draft with the commissioner, dapping him up. You do get to celebrate with the select family and friends that come with you. You get that moment that is going to be cherished for the rest of your life.
That's what you dream about when you go to Alabama and play quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, that's the moment that you're waiting for to welcome you to the league, is being on stage, shaking the hand, getting the jersey.
The flip side of that is if you don't get drafted in the first round, you become that guy. The question, though, for me is, like, on the outside looking in, I'm not sure if that's even that detrimental to Jalen Milroe because I expected him not to get drafted in the first round either way. Like, I'm not making fun of this guy or laughing if he doesn't. I'd more so be laughing at a team if they picked him in the top 15 or so. Like, do you take this risk? Me personally, I kind of am starting to come on the side of the fence of, even if I don't have the promise of it, I might take that invite from the NFL if they extend it, just because it is an incredible moment to just punt away.
You don't want to miss it. Yeah.
Don't want to miss that. Tina, if you have a chance, you can either select to watch from home because you don't know for sure if you'll get drafted in the first round, or you can take the invite to the green room, be in person, and be waiting on bated breath with a live camera in front of you the whole time, hoping your name gets called. Which one are you going with?
I am so torn. I'm just going back and forth of like, I wouldn't want to put myself to like possibly be embarrassed, but I also will never get this opportunity again to attend. So what would I do? And you could be like that meme, but then be a story of like, he waited so long, then was picked, and he becomes like one of the greatest. Like you have no idea.
Yeah.
Or he's the meme and everyone
Lamar
laughs
Jackson.
at him. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think of Lamar Jackson.
Fuel to the fire.
So who?
Fuel to the fire.
Fuel to the fire.
Chip
Right,
on your shoulder. Now you have something else to motivate you. But that's thinking in the macro. That's thinking about something to fool you during a training camp months from now. But that'll hurt that night.
Oh, yeah.
That week, you'll be the joke, the butt of the joke.
He's 2 seasons as a Bama quarterback, both of them underwhelming. Ran the ball well, never really felt like a consistent thrower of the football, and Bama's littered with good receivers and whatnot, and it just seemed like he was the one holding them back time after time.
Yeah, he was thought about getting benched. Like there was serious talks about that early last season about how poor that Alabama offense was and how many points did they score against Oklahoma with college football playoff chances on the line. They scored like 7 points or 3 points. They got destroyed by the Sooners.
I'm starting to think he knows something, man. I think there's a team that's willing to take either the late first rounder, maybe even trade back in to have him as a project to work on, or maybe a second round pick. But here's the question: if I had to ask you today, C-Cat, out of this class, outside of Cam Ward, this quarterback outside of Cam Ward is a 4 or 5-time Pro Bowler over the next 10 years and has a strong NFL career, like becomes one of the top guys. I don't see out of Jackson Dart, out of Dylan Gabriel, out of Quinn Ewers, out of even Shedeur Sanders, I don't necessarily see that guy in any of them because the ceiling of them is not that great. At least with Jalen Milroe, you can say hell of an athlete, great runner. He can set the bar. Like, the dual threat guys seem to have a very high floor, sometimes low ceiling. I can see maybe a team making something work with him.
And they beat Georgia. They laid a whooping on Georgia this season, and then Georgia laid a whooping on them back. But Alabama did prevail. Ryan Williams is a great receiver. Didn't do anything with him the rest of the season. It's ridiculous.
But just outside of Cam Ward, if there's another guy that's like a perennial Pro Bowler, maybe it's Jalen Milroe. I mean, it's all
drafting
dart
him
throws
where?
At this point.
Drafting him where,
I
though?
would not draft him in the first round. I just couldn't. There's no way.
No.
There's no way. Tina, would you go if you decided? You would. You would go.
I would go.
Yeah, I want to be on TV a little bit. Might be my
It's
last
an
chance.
opportunity.
I feel like this is a Pittsburgh Steelers draft mistake that is waiting to happen.
They did it with Kenny Pickett.
Yes, they love staying put and taking the best available, not trading up, not using draft capital, not risking overspending on a quarterback, both with draft picks and money. I can see it happening.
If they draft Jalen Milroe, don't pick up Aaron Rodgers, stick with their current quarterback room, to be honest, that's more advantageous to me than taking the risk on Rodgers. You would rather them go get Rodgers.
Yeah, I would.
Oh,
I feel like you're
man.
just setting her up for a 3-year cycle, a failure like Rudolph, like Pickett.
Bring in Milroe, sink or swim, and next year you can get a quarterback in the draft if it doesn't work out. Russo and Rizzo next. Go in love, go in peace, go in joy. Hey, ref, time out, man. All right, team, we're only down by 5. We can still win this. Grab some water and get back out there. Wait, no, not that water. That's full of contaminants and pharmaceuticals. You need Culligan water. With their free water test and reverse osmosis purification system, you'll have